Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. So today I'm going to be taking a look at the Botanica. Now, I had posted, I don't know, it was a few weeks ago, quite a few weeks ago probably, that I had gotten the Botanica, right? And I was going to do a video on it. And here it is. It's really shiny, so the light, you have to move it to kind of capture all the light, right? Now, the reason why I didn't shoot the video right away was because of what was inside of this. Now, inside of it, there is a card right here that talks about how that this was the original printing of it, mass market original printing of it, and that it had been not not done great. It had some major quality control issues, and that if you receive this deck, to contact them at this address and to have a newer, better deck sent to you. So I knew before buying this deck, because I researched it, I knew it had complications. I know that there was problems in the printing and just the overall quality control of this deck. And so I kind of knew what I was getting into. I got it for a really good price because I ended up having a coupon with the company that was selling it, and which was not the company, the Beehive. I think it's called Beehive. Let me just, I want to get in here and make sure I'm saying these things correctly. Yes, so Beehive Books. It was not from Beehive Books. It was actually from Indigo Books in Canada. I had a coupon, so I was able to get this at a really discounted price. However, if I did pay the asking price of this deck, I would have been irritated. This deck does retail at around between $50 to $80. You can see it floating around. And I didn't pay anywhere near that, right? So I want to make sure that that's made quite clear. This is the edition. There's several different editions that exist of this deck. This is the one that just comes with the postcards. There's, I believe, 5 postcards. They're very tiny. I'm not even sure what you would do with them, but they're still cool to have, like artwork sitting around or different things that you can do with them, right? Then it contained this card saying to contact them because this is considered a bogus copy. And then this book. The book is really thin paper, super thin paper. It's got wonderful information inside of it. There's some good stuff in here. However, the paper is like, it's like tissue paper. It is so thin. And it's like recycled craft paper or something. I don't know. It feels nice, but I don't see the durability in it, right? It's not going to last a long time. And when you get to know the Botanica and the things about the Botanica, you're going to be visiting that book. You're going to be spending time reading it because this deck is fantastic. It really honestly is. If you put the quality stuff aside, the issues with printing, all that different stuff aside, this is a fantastic deck. It really honestly is. I had no issues with the front of my cards. However, there is printing mishaps on the backs. And like, look how beautiful these backs are. They're gorgeous. Here's one right here. So you see how there's like the misprint in the black, and it's like it's like I don't even know how to explain it. Like white ink got smeared on it, or like the black didn't get like, and like, see, this one's a little bit of a lighter color. So the problems in my deck exist that I've noticed at this point exist on the back of the cards, which to me, like I said, doesn't really affect me. The gilding The gilding was really bad. Like, if you can see it, it's hard to see, but there's literally like clumps, clumps and clumps and clumps. This big spot right here, these were all together, and that was a huge chunk of gilding that was all stuck together. So really sloppy. in the gilding aspect, like dust or dirt or like dried pieces of the gilding got in with the actual liquid part of the gilding. Like, I don't know what the deal was, but yeah, it definitely had quality issues, quality control issues, big time. Now, I contacted this company. They were the nicest people ever. This Beehive Books, the nicest people ever. They answered me back super fast, apologized for the quality of this deck, and immediately, without any hesitation, sent me out the new fixed copy of this deck. And that showed up today. I opened it just briefly to see what was going on in here. And so what they chose to do is there's just cards in here. So I'm keeping the box, which is good. I mean, why recycle the box? There's nothing wrong with the box. The box is nice quality. It's got really nice magnetic closure, all of that stuff. So I can see that. Why reprint the box, right? I get that. I do not know what else is inside of here. I don't know if it's just cards or if it's like all of this stuff too, that I left it sealed. So we're going to open it up together and check it out. Now, in the meanwhile, the length of time that it took for this to get to me was, I'm going to say it was at least 3 to 4 weeks. It took a while to get here. While it was coming, I worked with this one and I absolutely love this deck. This deck is fantastic. The best way that I can describe this deck is like Ritual Tarot, but in the botanical world. It's fantastic. It's not a collage deck like the Ritual is. However, it has that same energy. It has so many different ancient connections into these plants, and they explain like what the pots are and what this is and what, what nationality that comes from or which culture that comes from, like all the different headpieces, all the different things. I love the minimalness of the cards. We've got these up at the top, these little symbols. These are the symbols that we connect into. Like this is the devil. They make a lot of sense, tons of sense. And then you just have these little Roman numerals here with your little sign, which obviously that's a pentacle. And then they talk about the coinage that's in here and why they picked it and where it comes from and what time frame it comes from. And it's just, there's a lot of thought that goes into this deck. And like I said, the best way I can describe it is like Ritual Tarot became a botanical, is the feeling that I get from this deck. It is a great read. I absolutely love it. It has become my favorite botanical deck. At this point, I absolutely love this deck. I really do. All right, let's get in here and see what they sent me and see what this new, better quality situation is. And the funny thing is I actually was perfectly fine with the way that this deck was. Yeah, like there's mess ups on the back of my cards. And I guess if they were on the front of my cards, it would be a different story. And I know some people had mess ups on the front of their cards. I had a little bit of a gilding stuff, a little bit of gilding situation, and the back of my cards. So, I mean, really at the end of the day, it didn't really affect me. Okay, wow. I can already tell the gilding's really nice. Yes, look at the gilding is much nicer. Much nicer. No big chunks of gilding. Nice and smooth. Right? You can see that. That's a better quality. And then what does this say here? It has the exact same card in it that this is, saying that if you're not happy with it, that to contact them again. And yeah, okay, so let's get in here and look at this. I can already tell you that, let me see. So there is still mess ups. I don't know if my camera's going to pick it up. There's still some discoloring on the backs. Okay, we've got postcards here. Just one. I'm confused. So there's only one of the postcards. Do I have this postcard? Is this another one? I think I have this one. Oh, no, I've got another postcard. So now I have like 6 postcards. Okay. We've got this repeat of this. There is no booklet, so this is my only booklet. All right, and let's see what's going on here. I actually find that this one isn't any better. This one's been cut out a little strange, like your corners are a little lifted. And I still have some marking. You know what? I'm going to zoom in. Let's zoom in and let's take a look here. Okay, we'll see if it can pick it up. I probably should have put this one back in order. But like I can already tell there's still, see it? There's still misprinting happening in this deck. Cardstock, the exact same. Yeah, so we're just, let me move up a little bit here. I'm completely out of the shot. I'm sorry. So honestly, like, I guess I'll just go through and pick the best of each deck, right? And put them back together. And I guess that's like the best I can do. Because I mean, what else am I going to do? Because I did hear that the reprint, it had the same issues, right? So I guess that's what I'll do is I'll just go back through and like Frankenstein a deck together. That's the best of both of these. And then I'm going to end up handing the second copy to my niece, I think, if she wants it. I don't know if she actually wants it or not. She might not. But I'm telling you, at the end of the day, like, this deck is fantastic. I've really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. These ones aren't stuck together. So this one, you know how gilding sticks together and it was really chunky? This was doing the same thing. This one's not stuck together. This one was stuck together. So this is the older one. Let me get this out of the way so I don't get anything mixed up with it. And like I said, I'm just going to morph them together to create like the perfect deck for me. But this one does have, see how, I don't know if it's going to pick it up. Let me see if I can get it. It's got like a raised edge from being like cut out. See it right there? See the edge is bent? It could have been from shipping, but I doubt it. I'm going to say it's from the cutout of it. But I really do enjoy this deck very, very, very much. So apparently I'm just going to have a second copy of it. But like I said, I'm going to move it on. Or maybe I'll keep it as a backup. I don't know. If she doesn't want it, maybe I'll keep it as a backup. But there definitely isn't, like, I feel there's still a print quality. And I feel like somehow this picture is different. Like, I want to see it. I'm going to get out the old one. I feel like it's been cut off. Maybe it hasn't been. Okay, just give me a second. I'm going to flip through. No, see, so it's the same. Yeah, so that's all I'm going to do is I'm just going to go through and I'm just going to pick like whatever the best cards from this one and the best cards from this one and just morph them together. But I've really enjoyed this deck like a lot. I wasn't so sure about it, but it's great. I honestly really, really like the readings I get from it. I've been spending a lot of time with it. It bumped Pagan and Otherworlds out of its spot next to my bed, and this is where this one is now. And I do my nightly readings with it. I think it's a great botanical. I have a hard time with botanicals. A lot of the time, botanical decks don't sit with me. I don't really enjoy them. But this one, I really do. I like the thought that's been put into it. I like the associations. I like the little historic tidbits that are entered into these cards, each one, and talking about the different cups or the different, uh, just the different things, right? Like, look at how each cup is different. So it talks about what these cups are and where they came from, and these cups and where these have come from. And it's fantastic. Like I said, it's like the ritual tarot meets the botanical world. I really enjoy its language. I love the way that it communicates and the things that it says and how it says it. It's been a good it's been a good deck, and like, I'm excited about it. But see, this is supposed to be the fixed copy. And like, look at, there's like still issues with the printing, really. But I also don't know how he created these. I don't know if these are created like digitally, or if if these are watercolors. I'm not sure. Let's see, does it say in the book? I don't think it talks very much about the person who created it, which is Kevin J. Stanton. I don't think it gives us any background on him or who he is. Yeah, it doesn't say if this is digital art or if these were individual paintings that he did. Yeah, it doesn't talk about that aspect of it. But if you can look over the minor imperfections that are in this deck, it's an amazing deck. I think a lot of you would really enjoy it. I really enjoy the simplicity of the symbols. It's great. I really do like it. And like I said, I'm just going to go through and I'm going to pick the best of each one of these cards. And I'm just going to make like my deck. I do think the printing quality seems to have a little bit more depth to it in a way. Let me see. Because this one looks a little different to me. But I mean, I might be wrong. Okay, so here's my older copy. And here's the newer copy. I feel like they're very much the same. I don't see any difference in them. I don't know. They seem the same to me. But like I said, I really do enjoy the way that this reads. I really, really enjoy this deck a lot. And it just takes a little bit of time to memorize the, yeah, see, like this one's like really, but see, it might just be dust. And once you wipe it off, see, it's coming clean. So it might just be like dust, right? Like paper dust. Oh, that is a postcard. Oh, here's our postcards that are in the middle. Okay. All right, back to where we're at. What's the last card here? Okay, now we're on the wand. Okay. All right, we're a little all over the place. What we got here? Page of Wands, Queen of Wands, Knight of Wands. Page, Knight, Queen. Well, where's our King? Oh, he's right here. Okay. Well, it's so weird when they do that. It must just be the way that it's printed, right? Because here's all our pentacles, and see, now it's like counting down backwards. Whatever. Anyways, so honestly, like I was saying, if you can look past the little minor imperfections that are happening in this deck as far as quality, it's a really, really nice deck. And I really enjoy it. Like I said, it quickly became one of my favorite botanicals, if not my most favorite botanical. And there's a lot of thought process put into these cards. There's a lot of different stuff happening, and the way that they talk about it and what they've put in, it's really quite interesting, and I learned a lot. I feel like the simple symbols are very easy to get. Like this is the Fool. It's obvious, right? Here's our Magician sign. It's a High Priestess sign. Here's our Empress. And it just goes on and on and on, right? And like it's really quite straightforward if you ask me. I don't know. That's what I think anyways. But when I talk about I'm going to put the majors aside because what they say, what he says in the book is pretty is pretty typical of your majors, right? But then when we look at the cups, okay, let's pick the Two of Cups. So the Two of Cups, we've got the Ghost Orchid and the Pond Apple. And he picked them because they have a symbiotic relationship, right? The rare ghost orchid co-involves with a single pollinator whose larvae feeds on the pond apple, forming their own symbiotic ecosystem. The cups are pottery made by the Chalusta and Teleska peoples. And I don't know if I pronounced that correctly. But so, I mean, you've got indigenous pottery from that area, right? And I think that there's like that's so much thought put into that, and I think that that's an amazing, I don't know, I really like that. I think it's super cool. Let's look at another one. So in this one, he chooses to use the typical glasses that you see in the Rider-Waite, right? So this is his nod to the Rider-Waite system. This is the, the cups that are depicted in it. And then these ones have like almost like little teacups in the center of these buttercups, right? So what's that? Six of Cups. So we have the buttercups. It says these glittering meadow flowers are often picked up by children and used in their games, reflecting a simple, innocent time of life. They are, however, poisonous. The cups are quarter-lobed teacups based on the mezen porcelain. I don't know. Really, just a lot of thought has gone into this deck, honestly. And I really enjoy it. I know it's got a lot of negative things being said about it, and I know a lot of people were irritated, and I think it's just because of the price point. Like honestly, if you weren't asking the amount of money that they ask for this, I don't think anyone would care. But I think it's because they're asking such a high price point for a mass market deck, and then there's obviously quality issues, right? And even this fixed copy that showed up still isn't really even any better. And I think that's just what has frustrated people, right? Is the fact that it's supposed to be fixed and it's not. So I've got a whole bunch of postcards now. But I'll separate it and make this back into like a complete deck, like I said, and then I'll see if my niece wants it. And if she doesn't, then I don't know, maybe I'll keep it as a backup because I do really honestly enjoy this deck and connect in really deep with it. I enjoy its readings immensely. So that's kind of what happened with my whole Botanica adventure. So when it showed up, I posted that I was going to be doing a video on it, but then this whole system and thing unraveled where it was like I was waiting for another deck, and then I figured I'd hold off, and then it showed up today, and now it's kind of like, okay, now what? Like, I don't know, it's weird, but it is what it is. And this one seems to have tried to be fixed, and it is a little bit better. I don't think we have the same mess up of printing. Oh, we do a little bit on the back. But once again, like if you get in here and wipe it, it seems to come off. So I think it's just like paper dust, right, from printing. I don't know. I'll have to spend some time with it and check it out. But yeah, so that was my whole experience with the Botanica. It's totally up to you if you decide to buy it. Maybe you already own it. If you do already own this deck, what was your experiences with it? I do know that some of these decks showed up in really, really bad shape. Like really bad shape. I've seen some of them and I was like, holy cow. Like I'd be super PO'd, man, if it showed up in that in some of the conditions that I've seen them show up in. Honestly, mine was really not that bad. And like I said, the company was excellent. They were super fast, super responsive, and was just like, yeah, we'll totally take care of it. We'll send you a fixed version. But I actually find the fixed version to still have some issues. So, I mean, like I said, I'm going to Frankenstein them together and make my one good deck, and then the extra deck will be rehomed. All in all, like I said, if you can overlook the little complications, it's a great reader, and I've really enjoyed my time with it. So I don't really care, to tell you the truth. I mean, if the whole entire front was completely destroyed, that would be one thing, right? But my copy, like I said, just have those weird little like shadowy light spots. Here's one right here. You can see it. There's one. So like, I mean, yeah, it's weird. And I don't think it affected me as much because like I said, here's one down here at the bottom. But I don't think it affected me as much because like I said, I got it on sale. I got it for like a very affordable price. I think at the end of the day, it was around $30 and free shipping. So I mean, I can't really complain about that. If I did pay 60, 70, 80, however, I would be really, really not happy with the quality and what I got. So, but honestly, like I keep saying, I really, really like this deck and I really enjoy the thought process and the work and everything that's gone into it. I find a lot of the time botanical decks start out really strong and then they just kind of get weird and it's like they start to kind of fall apart and things just get really weird. So, and they kind of switch out, like they'll start, you know, where they're doing a certain species of plants and then they run out of those species and then they switch it to something different, or they combine or group things together that kind of don't go together. And I feel like it's just a lot of people who make these decks don't really honestly have like the proper background that they need to create these decks and have like a botanical background or a landscaping background or a background in horticulture. And I feel like if you're going to do that, like it's important. I have said it on my channel before in my past, I do hold a degree in landscaping and horticulture. And so for me, like I was very fast and able to connect into these cards. And I think, like I said, either Kevin J. Stanton has a background in plants or he just did a whole heck of a lot of really good research. But I do really think that his choices, the way that this deck has, the way it comes at you, his plant selections, the colors of them, the language, the way that he's put in different historic or ancient artifacts into the pictures is just, it's really well thought out. I don't have anything really bad to say about it other than quality can be an issue. So be aware of that. If you do go and get this for yourself, maybe find a way to get it on sale, or just be aware that chances are you're going to get a deck that's going to have a little bit of issues, right? So just be aware of that. And then when it shows up, you'll be expecting it, right? I'm going to kind of end on that note because I just kind of wanted to spend a little bit of time with it. It was obviously a very fast flip through. I didn't really spend a whole lot of time looking at each one of these cards, but there's just so much to say about them and there's so much to discover. So I feel like, you know, buying it yourself, getting into the book yourself and discovering it all yourself is really quite the way to go on this. Well, hopefully this has helped you. Hopefully you've enjoyed this. Maybe you have been looking at this deck and just really don't know what to expect. But like I said, just expect a little bit of quality issues. And the nice thing is if it does show up and it's a complete train wreck, you can always purchase, or sorry, not purchase, but you can always contact them and they'll send you another copy. And then you'll have to do what I do, where you kind of piece the best together and get what you get, right? So that's kind of where I'm going with it. And that's what I'm going to sit down to do. We're going to sit this up here. I'm going to create my deck and put the one aside that I don't want. So now looking at both of these, the thing is some of these cards have like a dust on them that's giving them the look of not being printed correctly. But like when I look at these, this one's got some scratches. This one, to me, isn't as dark. This one's a little bit like more hazy looking. But like I said, I don't know. It's really hard to see. I think this one has like a blacker background, to tell you the truth. I don't think it's really picking up on the camera. This one does, however, have kind of a lifted corner happening from when they like punched it or cut it or something. Maybe it's due to shipping. It's not split. Maybe it's from shipping. It got a little bit of an impact, but I don't think it did though. No, it was in there pretty tight. I think that's just going to be from like cutting it out. Oh, so do I pick the card that's a darker but has the messed up cutout corner as opposed to the one that's a little cloudier? But this one has a pretty noticeable scratch right across it. I don't know if it's going to show, if I can get it to show up. It's not going to show. It's got a pretty noticeable scratches happening. Oh, there it is. See it right there? It's got some pretty noticeable scratches happening. I honestly think I'm going to stick with my original. I don't know. Okay. This might be harder than I thought it was going to be. I'm going to stick with my original one, and I'm going to put that one over there. So over here is the one that I'm not keeping. This is the one that I am keeping. When it comes to the Magician, my Magician is printed clearer. This one's kind of brighter and clearer, but there's like some messed up stuff happening, whereas this one kind of doesn't have it. Sorry, I'm shaky. I think I'm going to stick with mine. Once again, the black is just a little darker. I think I'm going to go with the new one on that one. Okay, the Empress. I think I'm going to go with the new one on that one. The Emperor. I think I'm going to go with the new one on that one too. checking because I feel like part of me is like, I feel the cardstock is different. But I keep checking and I don't think it is. Maybe a little bit thinner, but like I can't tell if it's the cardstock or if it's like the gilding. I don't know, I can't tell. It's annoying. I'm gonna go with the new one. Go with the old one. The new one. Go with the new one. The new one. This one's got a little bit of like a little bit of a fogginess to it. The camera is not picking any of this up, honestly. I'm gonna go with the new one. Go with the new one. This one's got like a scuff right here. The new one, this one's got a pretty noticeable scuff. Like it's hard because the new one is like you can see in this, it's darker than this. So this is like a much darker black, and this one's kind of more of like a faded black. But these ones have scuffs on them a little bit, like lines. I think I'm gonna go with the new one on that one. New one on that one. Yeah, like they all have like imperfections. They all do. So I don't know if anybody else has got this deck and has had some experiences with it as far as quality and what they chose to do. Like I can see, oh, I can on this one too though. You can see the embossing on the back has come through. This is my one card that the back got messed up on. Came like that. And there's, I think, one other one that I'll have to pay attention to and see. Just seems like this one just has a darker background, but I swear to God, the cardstock is a little thinner. Like a smidgen, but I don't know if it's just me. And I feel like it's even, like it's cut different. Like this card is smaller. So maybe I'm making a mistake mixing them together. Yeah, like they are noticeably smaller. So maybe I can't. I feel like it's really noticeable. Maybe I can't do it then. Yeah, because see, now they all line up and they all line up. But if I put them, they are a very noticeably smaller cut. All right, well, then I can't do this like I wanted to. Yeah, like look at the difference. Can you see it? Oh, let me see. Let me see if I zoom in. Look at the difference in size. Do you see how much of that edge of that card is sticking out? Look at that. So I can't mix the two. Oh, that sucks. All right, well, I guess I just need to flip through and I need to pick my deck, and I can't create my own deck because they've been cut different. All right, well, there you have it. There's my answer. I don't know if anybody else has experienced this where they can't mix the two, but it's obviously I'm going to have to pick one over the other, and that'll be it. But anyways, thanks for watching. Hopefully you enjoyed yourselves. If you haven't already, please subscribe, give me a follow. You'll get notified when I post new things and as they come up and happen. My memberships are up right now. You know, there's a lot of wonderful things on there. So go check that out and see if anything speaks for you. I tried to put some really nice price points so that everything's affordable or, you know, doable. And yeah, so I'll see you guys on the next one. Thank you so much for joining in. And write in the comments below. Let me know if you guys have got this deck and what you ran into with it or your different thoughts and feelings about it. Let me know. All right. I'll see you guys on the next one. Thanks. Bye.